Nitishastra deals about managing the society, managing the people. Shastra is study. Niti is the subject. That subject which leads us in the right path. When a person is living in a society is Niti, and the thorough study of it becomes Nitishastra. We don't have to look beyond any text on Nitishastra to understand management. Sam, Dam, Bhed, Dand is a conflict resolution mechanism. कहीं भी भेदभाव हो, कहीं भी मतभेद हो, बड़ा हो छोटा हो, साम दाम भेद दंड से उसको रिजॉल्व किया जा सकता है, भले इट इज़ अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट एट अ यूनाइटेड नेशन लेवल और इट्स अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट विद इन द फैमिली ऑल्सो.
Good morning everyone. This is architect Anisa Azhurunisa, architect and urban planner from Faculty of Architecture, SSU University. Today I am here to introduce Mr. Bharat Dash, who is an assistant professor from Faculty of Management Studies, SSU University. Today we are here to discuss a very interesting topic, Nitishastra. Good morning Bharat ji. Let me introduce Bharat ji. Mr. Bharat Dash is a management trainer, teacher and educator who specializes in using Panchatantra stories as a medium to connect, communicate and correlate with the finer aspects of self and organizational development. He has conducted more than 300 seminars, workshops and courses that are in various sectors like healthcare, education, paramilitary, steel and mining and automobiles. He has been appointed as a master trainer by Indian Knowledge System by the Division of Ministry of Education, Government of India, to train university level teachers on Nitishastra and storytelling pedagogy. He is also a trainer for Malviya Mission Teachers Training Program appointed by UGC and has conducted various training programs for prestigious central and state universities across the country. Presently, he is an assistant professor at the Faculty of Management Studies, SSU University, Cuttack, Odisha. An IT engineer by qualification, he holds a master's degree in marketing management, master's degree in economics, postgraduate diploma in business design, and is a UGC NET qualified assistant professor. Prior to pursuing an academic career, he has worked in reputed corporate organizations like Infosys, CTS Tech and HCL Infosystems. Through his initiative, Katha Pratha, he aims to disseminate the teachings of Panchatantra and other Indian classics to the masses, aiding them in becoming better students, professionals, leaders and citizens. Welcome Bharat ji. Once again, welcome to this podcast, Bharat ji.
Thank you.
I would, in this context of Nitishastra, I would like you to share a bit about the background and journey in Nitishastra and modern management. How did you come to this idea of Nitishastra?
So I think while you were reading the profile itself, you have covered all the background as such. But let me just give you that flow of how I landed up with Nitishastra. So engineering was, like most of the students of my age, engineering was by chance, or so everybody was doing, so I had to do it. Then IT job happened, I had to continue because again, to earn a livelihood I had to continue. MBA was a choice. So I was very much fascinated by the subject of marketing, the subject of PR, positioning, everything. So MBA was by choice. But still, when I was going through the journey of MBA or even economics later on, I really thought there is something which is missing. That's something for which maybe we always used to meet our teachers after the class. So there's something which is not covered in the syllabus. There's some practical aspect which maybe you can only learn when you are in the organization, working as a part of the organization, but not being covered in the textbooks or in the syllabus. So this continued, and I left my job around 2012 to follow a full-fledged career in teaching. It was in 2018, and one of my mentors, Mr. Rajesh Kamath, he was just delivering a lecture. It was a book reading section, and he was delivering a session on Panchatantra. And I just attended it. I had no plans. I just attended it because he was there. And after hearing what the Panchatantra contained, I was fascinated by the book. So then I bought the book and I started reading it. The moment I started reading it, I realized this is what was missing in my classroom sessions. This is where I thought, I think the question mark remained which every student wanted to get answered after the classroom sessions. It kind of opened up so many things for me. It was only through Panchatantra I realized there is a subject called Nitishastra, and Panchatantra being just one book of it. And then, like, it's been 6 years or so, everyday study, everyday analysis based on what's happening in the outside world, and I think it's a fascinating subject. And step by step, slowly, opportunities came, and I think I am enjoying this journey on the path of Nitishastra, which is a beautiful subject and definitely a practical one which every student loves.
Bharatji, for those who might not be familiar, can you just elaborate what is Nitishastra and also its historical significance?
Okay, so when it comes to management, ma'am, the moment we say somebody is studying management or somebody is studying MBA, what comes to our mind is MBA is a modern subject and having principles or theories being derived majorly from the West. So whether it is Kotler, whether it is Drucker, whether it is Maslow, all these principles are coming from the West. So we assume that India was a country which never had management as a subject, but that's totally wrong. In fact, the first subject area which was thoroughly analyzed and thoroughly studied in India, it has to be Nitishastra or Arthashastra, both go hand in hand. It has to be Nitishastra because Nitishastra deals about managing the society, managing the people. Now, even before we started to analyze, before we wanted to know what is chemistry or what is physics, first we wanted to understand how to keep the people together in a family. What is the need of this person, what is the need of this person, and how, if the needs are clashing, how to manage keep the balance. So that was a practical thing which is required even to manage a small family. And then the gurus of the past, they realized what are the needs of different people, in which condition a person behaves in this manner, like to what extent we should share information, to what extent we should hide information. So this was an entire theory. It is said that Brahma himself was the first person to formulate or rather to construct an entire book thesis on Nitishastra with more than 1 lakh verses. Okay, so it was like it said 1 lakh verses. So he encapsulated every bit and pieces of management wherever it was required. Thereafter, it was realized that maybe it is too vast of a subject to be taught, to be understood by a common man. So filtration happened. And the further the gurus like Pishuna or even Narad contributed to it. There were Chanakya, the great Chanakya himself was a contributor. So now it came down to a point where we had an essence of what all Brahma had written, and that encapsulated to be the modern day, or modern, when I say modern, at least 2000 years ago, Nitishastra book. So Niti, it's very important for us to understand Niti before we understand Nitishastra. Shastra is study, thorough study of something or the theory of something. Niti is the subject. So what is Niti? It's very difficult. If I have been asking this question very often to students, to corporate people, and they know this word Niti. I'm sure you must also have heard about this Niti. So Niti, Niyati being two of the common words which are kind of the hallmark of Indian scriptures. It's very difficult to define Niti using one single word in English. Not possible. Because Niti can be a word for ethics, Niti can be a word for morality, Niti can be a word for policy, Niti can be a word for governance, for foreign policy, for administration, for management. So Niti has got different meaning, it has different connotation depending upon how we are using it. The etymology of Niti is that which leads. Okay, Niti, okay, that which leads. So that subject which leads us in the right path. I'm not talking about good path. In the right path, okay, in the right path, when a person is living in a society, is Niti. and the thorough study of it becomes Nitishastra.
Wow,
Right.
very nicely explained. Bharatji, you are from management background, basically you are a faculty of management. So in your opinion, what makes this very relevant to today's management practices?
Yes. So, first of all, what I said earlier, that Niti Shastra, and especially I am talking with respect to Panchatantra, it contains few things which are not present in modern day management books. For example, I myself have been a student of management for 4 years. 2 years into design thinking and 2 years business design and 2 years into marketing. At least in that entire 6 years of me being a student of management and economics, never ever in the classroom, never ever in the textbook there was a question or there was a point which told me सच बोलना चाहिए कि झूठ बोलना चाहिए. So this point was not there. So whether you should speak the truth or you should hide the truth, या फिर झूठ बोलना चाहिए. Now students study management. They know all the theories, this theory, that theory, everything. They go to corporate and then they realize ये नहीं सीखा. अभी सामने बॉस उनको क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, कस्टमर उनको क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, सप्लायर क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, सवाल पूछ रहा है, कितना बताए कितना छुपाए. अब that was never taught, that cannot be taught. In normal management, it's very difficult. Nobody discussed it. So, if you open the book of Niti Shastra, any text on Niti Shastra, they will actually point out different contexts in which one is supposed to say the truth, in which one during or in a situation where one is supposed to hide the truth, and in a situation one is supposed to manipulate the truth. किस situation में क्या, और हम organization में रहने के बाद हम ये समझ जाते हैं. But जब actually बच्चा पढ़ रहा है, MBA का कोई बच्चा, nobody knows how to deal with this. So Niti Shastra is everything that management has. One more thing, management education को आके करीबन 100 साल हो गए, 100 साल के ऊपर हो गए. Early 20th century was the period when management text started coming up, formal management text started coming up as a subject. It was only after 80 years of formal, at least, okay, I'm just taking a rough figure, after 80 years, we realized that good governance or ethics भी management में पढ़ाना चाहिए.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It was only after 80 years we realized this. It was only after 90 years we realized that sustainability करके एक word होना चाहिए और उसके ऊपर एक study होना चाहिए, उसको subject matter should be included in normal management.
Definitely.
Whereas Niti Shastra starts with this principle. Okay, it starts with this principle. It's not like an aftershoot अब बहुत पैसे कमा लिया अब क्या करें. No, it's not like it has been well thought out. The subject has been well researched and it has been presented in a absolute holistic way, and we don't have to look beyond any text on Niti Shastra to understand management. I can say this being a teacher of management, being a student of management.
Very well explained, Bharatji. Can you also highlight some key principles that you believe are particularly applicable to modern management?
Okay. So I'll go with the most famous one. So okay. Let's say I ask you, नीति, इसका नीति, किसका नाम ध्यान में आता है? Let's say dash नीति.
To me, नीति is
any
conduct.
Conduct being a word. So if I say that any Purvacharya or any guru of ancient past, dash नीति.
Yes, Vishnu Sharma, I remember because his wisdom, conduct of wisdom is related to Panchatantra, correct. So I could relate to that.
The most common person, right? The most common person people associate with, and because you are more learned, so you are able to quote Vishnu Sharma ji. If ask a common person, dash नीति, किसकी नीति जानते हो आप? So the common person will say चाणक्य नीति.
Yes.
Okay, the most common word you will say that चाणक्य नीति. क्या जानते हो चाणक्य नीति में? What do you know in चाणक्य नीति? So people generally say, have you heard this? Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed.
Of course, okay. Yes.
So that people assume that Sam, Dan, Dand, Bhed is Niti, everything, but it's more than. But Sam, Dan, Dand, Bhed is a very popular and very powerful framework over there.
Yes.
क्या है? If I ask you, like what do you think of Sam, Dan, Dand, Bhed?
Like I know Chanakya, Arthashastra, he was the mastermind, and it was related to governance, okay, and the policies, correct, and what is the code of conduct for the people. That is the thing which I can relate with that.
Still you are giving a very polished and educated answer. Ask any common person, what do you think of Sam Dam Dand Bhed? They will say by hook or by crook. The common connotation that we have, the user Sam Dam Dand Bhed use करके ये काम करना है. So that means they said by hook or by crook ये करना है. That becomes a negative way of looking at Sam Dam Dand Bhed, which is by far one of the most powerful theories you will find in the history of Nitishastra or management ever. So what is this Sam Dam? It's not actually Dand Bhed. It's Sam Dam Bhed Dand. Bhed Dand.
Okay.
So Dand Bhed बाद में बदला है sequence, but actually it should be Sam Dam Bhed Dand. There is a reason for it also. वो खुद में ही बहुत बड़ा discussion है. We'll discuss it later. So now see Sam Dam Bhed Dand. We say by hook or by crook. Basically, what is Sam Dam Bhed Dand? Sam Dam Bhed Dand is a conflict resolution mechanism. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन, कहीं भी भेदभाव हो, कहीं भी मतभेद हो, बड़ा हो छोटा हो, साम दाम भेद दंड से उसको रिजॉल्व किया जा सकता है, भले इट इज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट एट अ यूनाइटेड नेशन लेवल और इट्स अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट विद इन द फैमिली ऑल्सो. यू हैव जस्ट दिस 4 ऑप्शंस, वन शुड नो हाउ टू यूज इट. साम का इस्तेमाल करना है कि भेद का इस्तेमाल करना है कि दंड का इस्तेमाल करना है कि दान का इस्तेमाल करना है, कैसे सिचुएशन में क्या इस्तेमाल करके इस मतभेद को, इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को रिजॉल्व करना है. It forms n number of 2x2 matrices can be formed based on this to just to understand how to implement this. एक छोटा सा प्रिंसिपल है साम दाम भेद दंड. आप ऐसे उठाया, ऐसे मैनेजमेंट के टेक्स्ट बुक में भी अगर आपने डाल दिया तब भी उसका पूरा चैप्टर, पूरा सेक्शन बन सकता है उसके ऊपर. Just one thing which is a popular one which I am saying. There are many such frameworks in Niti Shastra.
Yes, as you mentioned about the Arthashastra, Niti and all. So this were actually, Arthashastra was also formed for governance and all. So I want to know, in present managers and leaders, how can they use this for decision making in their daily life work?
Yes. So like Arthashastra, Niti Shastra, both again I said go hand in hand. The idea was to give the knowledge, the right kind of knowledge to a leader or to a person who is a part of an organization, so that he and she should have a good conduct, and decision making being one of the most important criteria for a leader. How, just I said like Sam Dam Bhed Dand, for any governance related activity, for any management related activity, Niti Shastra or Artha Shastra can give us principles which can be used for conduct, or I think you asked for decision making, right? Yeah, I was just thinking
Yes,
what was that?
decision
For
making process.
So decision making, let's say there is a process, like you have some input data, you process it, your output is a decision. If you look at the model, only the model, Arthashastra contains a complete model which is called Anvikshiki model.
Okay.
So you have the Anvikshiki model, and Anvikshiki is now getting popular because of usage by many people, many scholars. So Anvikshiki model is present, which is a holistic model of decision making. How one should gather information from which sources. So for example, it's like Pratyaksha, Paroksha or Anuman. So it's like from direct reference, from indirect sources, and from based on whatever data is available in the market and your own gut feeling, how you should gather the data, on what basis you should be able to process the data, and then on what basis you should be able to filter that decision so that you then arrive at the right decision. So this is decision making framework. One more beauty of Niti Shastra and specifically Panchatantra is that it gives you scenarios in which situation which decision is correct. It's not just that this is a process, input, and then it becomes very mechanical, it looks very mechanical. But there have been specific scenarios in Panchatantra, like in such cases, when you are in such case, somebody is asking or you are faced with this, then this decision is correct. But however, in another situation, in another case, this decision is not correct. You should go with this decision. So this contextual understanding is very clearly mentioned over here. It's not just one model fits all. Rather, they have multiple models depending upon the situation. Whether I am a prime minister, whether I am the chairman, the president, the follower, the sweeper, or whether I am the queen. So depending upon my role in the setup, depending upon the context, the situation, my decision should be different, which suits the requirement. So even the context have been set in all these books.
Yeah, I also want to know, okay, we are talking about these ancient principles and integrating it in our present studies. So you must be facing some challenges. So I want to know what are the challenges you are facing in integrating those ancient principles in the contemporary management practices.
Good question, ma'am. Though I must admit that over the last 4 or 5 years, the challenges have reduced. The time has come. But I'll tell you what are the challenges. First is like, ये पुराना है, ये ancient है, अभी इसका क्या काम? First, the most, because as I said, the moment we think of an MBA student, you imagine that person in a suit, boot, tie लगा के ऐसे, like that kind of a personality. He looks modern. He wants something modern. But it is not modern versus ancient over here. We have to tell them that this is not ancient. Rather, this is eternal. A principle, like for example, न्यूटन को जाके 400 साल हो गया. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमें एक नया ग्रेविटी का लॉ चाहिए. न्यूटन का ग्रेविटी का लॉ 400 साल पहले जैसा था, आज भी ऐसा ही है. We still study the same law because it is still applicable. The relevance, the application is still absolutely spot on. Hence, Nitishastra, the sutras, the theories, the principles covered in Nitishastra, they were not just meant for those days. They have absolute clarity, and it was because it was based on the law of nature. Even today, they have absolute relevance. So that, but yeah, that I had to prove to many cases. So in a couple of universities, they were very open. So they readily accepted, saying that, oh, this is nice, implement it. So I know a couple of universities, I've been working with them since last 4 or 5 years, and they were the first one to adopt it. There are universities who are still finding it difficult, and or rather they are not ready to accept it due to many reasons, one being this is ancient. So थोड़ा सा उनको समझाना पड़ता है the content matter, maybe one session, one demo session with respect to what all it can do, and till now I haven't found a university or a institute जो demo session के बाद बोल दे कि ये काम का नहीं है, ऐसा कोई नहीं है. And the IKS division which was formed under Ministry of Education under AICTE, so they have also doing phenomenal work. So I have been a part of their work, their objective of creating more teachers or more people who are aware of this knowledge, who can disseminate this knowledge. I've been training them. So they are doing a phenomenal work, and their push was helpful in the overall acceptance of this subject now. And it is growing, it will grow, definitely grow.
To continue with this decision making, I also want to understand how these principles are applicable in ethical decision making, leadership, as well as it is useful in conflict resolutions also. How can we resolve it? Okay,
so I just talked about Samdam Bhedadand in conflict resolution. The previous one was what you asked?
Ethical decision
ethical
making.
Decision making. Now, I think this is the most problem area or confusion which a fresh graduate, fresh MBA pass out faces in the organization. What is ethical, what is not ethical, and I think it continues even at the highest level also. So, to understand the word term Niti itself is like understanding what is ethical, what is unethical. And Niti cannot be understood without understanding what is Dharma. They go hand in hand. The basis of Niti is Dharma. Everybody is supposed to perform a particular role in a given setup. You being a teacher, I being a teacher, in this university or this classroom being a setup. So I am supposed to perform the role. That role becomes my dharma. My action, if they are based on my dharma, can be categorized as karma. So karma or karma. And how I carry out my action is niti. How? So that niti, at the base of niti lies dharma. Anything which is suitable, anything which goes well, aligns well with respect to my role in the setup is ethical. Anything that doesn't align with my role in the setup, me being a teacher or me being a student, doesn't align with my role, is unethical.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to know how and why it is important to teach students, modern students, these principles of Niti Shastra.
Many reasons. One, definitely they should know ki, and especially talking of India, they should know that management is not something which is given to us by the West. So when we say management, हमको लगता है कि management is something that one should practice only when one is in the organization. किसी कंपनी में ज्वाइन करने के बाद हम मैनेजमेंट को प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है. मैनेजमेंट इज समथिंग दैट इज प्रैक्टिस इन डे टू डे लाइफ ऑल्सो. फैमिली में मैनेजमेंट होता है, सोसाइटी में मैनेजमेंट होता है. सो हाउ टू लुक एट like manage, we cannot say that I am a good manager only when I am inside the corporate office. If everything is being managed, a family is being managed, a system at different level is being managed. So if one person is able to understand the principles or the theories, the sutras of Niti Shastra and follow it, they will never face this so-called corporate stress. बोला था ना, the stress feeling that comes, ऐसा हो रहा है, ये the most common dialogue you hear from a person, बहुत politics है यार हमारे ऑफिस में, बहुत politics है. The question is very simple, कहाँ नहीं है? Exactly. कहाँ, even घर में है, कहाँ नहीं है? So the idea that politics is something bad and I cannot fit myself over there, what they are doing is totally wrong, is something which gives a lot of stress. Niti Shastra, the subjects, the principles and the entire scope of Niti Shastra, if one goes through, the level of acceptance one has towards these kind of activities is very high. They understand कि हाँ ठीक है, वो so called politics कर रहा है, but ऐसा ही होता है, इंसान ऐसा करता है, इंसान ऐसा भी करता है, इंसान अपनी जान बचाने के लिए, पोजीशन सेव करने के लिए ये भी कर सकता है. वो एक एक्सेप्टेंस भी आ जाए ना कि ऐसा होता है, that makes us feel relaxed, rather than feeling that ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है. The difference between ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है ऐसा होता है is where the stress level reduces. Niti Shastra gives us that angle, that acceptance of that man is a political animal at the end of the day, and for survival, for his role, he can perform many types of things. उसमें बहुत काम का आता है.
Yes. You are a faculty at Shri University. So I want to know how this management this was incorporated in the curriculum of Shri University into the management studies. Yes. That I want.
So yeah, that's interesting. Shri University, it goes well with I joined the university itself with the notion that they have this east versus we have this east versus best of east and west. So I knew that by the meaning of best of east and west is something similar, that subject like Niti Shastra should be brought back because they're relevant to the modern day. So I applied for this a couple of years ago, that this subject can be taught, even before I joined officially over here. And last year this subject got sanctioned under a minor. So in our FMS section we have a general management degree with a major and a minor. So one of the minors that we have over here is called good governance. And under good governance, Niti Shastra is the subject that is being taught. The effort is on to make sure that Niti Shastra becomes a general subject and not just something which is selective for a particular course or just a part of good governance. That effort is on. Definitely last year was a big change because they saw that what Niti Shastra can do. The students realized that it is, even after their 3 semesters, this was being taught in the 4th semester, they realized, oh, after 3 semesters, I could see myself in them. The aha moment which I had when I read Panchatantra for the first time. So they realized what kind of powerful subject this is and what engaging subject. This is not something which is boring. Never ever has a person told me that maza nahi aaya. I have taken sessions for maximum, I have taken for 9 hours in one day. So there was Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda. For them I took for 9 hours, continuous 9 hours, just one lunch break in between and maybe tea break. Even after that, at around 8:30 in the night, they are saying, sir, ek aur story, ek aur kahani. And they were all elders, not even youngsters, some youngsters, some elders. So it has been a good experience in Shri University. they gave me this chance to introduce this subject, and I think the feedback has been good, and we plan to take it big next time in the next academic year.
Yeah, actually my next question was that only, what was the feedback of the students who have taken up this course on Nitishastra as well as modern management?
So they loved it more, and there have been instances where students who were not part of this course, they also came and sat for the lectures. And if we ask them today, I think we covered around 12 to 13 stories from Panchatantra, encompassing the different angles of Nitishastra. You ask them from all the 12, 13 stories, they will never forget even a single character in their life. So they carry them, they still message saying that, sir, this is like this. There were a couple of students who were in, I think, 2020 batch, one of the colleges in Mumbai, and something happened in the political scenario of Maharashtra. So I was getting constant messages on my WhatsApp saying that, sir, ये बिल्कुल उसी की तरह behave कर रहा है उस कहानी में जैसा था. So this leader is behaving like that. So these are some of the feedbacks. It's always fascinating to share these stories, and the kind of it's also, this is not a typical lecture type of classroom for Nitishastra. The stories, the principle, they form the base. Over that base, the students interact, they share their opinion, their experiences, their questions, their queries, and then the overall space becomes far more fertile to create new ideas or to learn in that space.
Absolutely. Even I was in my childhood, I think every child is fascinated by Panchatantra tales. So I was also very much fascinated by that. Now coming to a question, what do you see the future of Nitishastra in the realm of global management studies and practices?
Right. Nitishastra for the next 10 years is only going to rise. I have said this in a forum earlier also, where my mentor himself was present. I said that if the last 20 years was of Chanakya, the coming 20 years will be of Panchatantra. I can write on this. I can even now say this. You mark my words, today is 2024 July. 5 years down the line, Panchatantra will be far more popular, and in the real Panchatantra, not the one which we assume it to be. And Nitishastra will be the subject that everybody will be looking forward to. I can 100% guarantee on this, just based on my own personal experience. I am not using any external data at all. I have seen the graph rise like anything in the last 10 months itself.
So it's really very nice to know about this. Before concluding, I also want to know any final thoughts on this Nitishastra to the listeners you want to give.
Okay, so the final thought will be like this. See, I start generally my subject with this. Don't look at the success of an organization, whether it is a family, business organization or a nation. Don't look at the success of organization with respect to the profit it earns, or what is happening nowadays with the valuation of that company. It's not like that. Nature measures success only by one means, and that mean is longevity. How long a particular organization or a species is able to survive. Nitishastra, the principles of Nitishastra are designed in such a way that it will make sure that if it is being practiced by any individual or by any leader or by any organization, that individual, that leader will be able to survive the test of time. So that is guaranteed. They will be able to maneuver through all the obstacles and will be able to survive the test of time.
That's very nice. Actually, after reading this Nitishastra, or maybe I used to consider it as conduct of wisdom, morals, philosophies, values from Panchatantra, I used to understand, when I was matured, I used to understand that it gives us a way to make our life successful or to attain the success by understanding the human nature.
Yes.
So it was really very nice talking to you, and you have elaborated much on this subject. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure
Thank you
talking
so
to you.
much.